Traveling the world sounds exciting, but not every place is safe or welcoming for everyone. In some countries, racism and discrimination still make life very difficult for Black travelers. These stories are shocking, uncomfortable, and very real. Before you plan your next trip, you need to know about these places. Traveling the world sounds exciting, but not every place is safe or welcoming for everyone. In some countries, racism and discrimination still make life very difficult for Black travelers. These stories are shocking, uncomfortable, and very real. Before you plan your next trip, you need to know about these places. Number 10. Russia. Russia may look like a land of incredible culture, history, and vast landscapes, but for Black travelers, it's a completely different story. Behind the pretty postcards lies a darker reality. Many Black visitors have reported open hostility, verbal slurs, and in some cases, even physical attacks. Sure, Moscow and St. Petersburg are more cosmopolitan, but even there you can feel the tension in the air. Step outside those big cities into smaller towns, and the situation gets worse. Far-right groups are active, and racial violence is not just rumors, it's a documented problem. The truth is, Russia struggles deeply with racism, and while you may find warm individuals, the overall atmosphere for Black travelers can feel unsafe. Walking through the streets can mean constant stares, muttered insults, or worse. If you're Black, traveling here isn't just about sightseeing. It's about surviving a country that hasn't dealt with its racial demons. And if you think Russia is bad, just wait until you hear about what's happening in China. Number 9. China is rising as a global superpower. But when it comes to accepting Black people, it's a completely different story. Black visitors and residents often describe their time here as being under a microscope. Constant stares, random photos taken without permission, and discriminatory treatment in shops, restaurants, or housing. During the COVID-19 pandemic, things got even worse. In cities like Guangzhou, Black residents were thrown out of apartments, denied entry to businesses, and blamed for spreading the virus. That wasn't just a bad moment in history. It exposed the deep-rooted racial prejudice many Black people still face in China today. Even now, surveys show that nearly half of African expats in China report serious discrimination, from being refused service to being treated like criminals. Next, let's move to a place you'd never expect to make this list. A country famous for art, history, and pizza. But behind the tourist posters lies a darker truth. Number 8. Italy. Italy may sound like a dream destination. Beautiful cities, world-class food, ancient ruins. It's on nearly every traveler's bucket list. But for Black people, the dream often turns into a nightmare. Racism in Italy has been rising, and Black people, especially African migrants, are the main targets. In fact, racially motivated crimes jumped by more than 30% in recent years, and Black individuals have been at the center of that violence. Even tourists aren't safe from the hostility. Reports of slurs, harassment, and even physical attacks keep surfacing. Walking through famous landmarks like the Colosseum or the canals of Venice doesn't guarantee safety from being singled out. Many Black travelers describe being stared at, avoided, or treated differently in restaurants and shops. So while millions visit Italy to enjoy its beauty, Black travelers often walk away with stories of humiliation and fear. And if you think Europe stops there, think again, because Greece has its own ugly side too. Number 7. Greece is often sold as paradise. White beaches, blue waters, ancient ruins. It looks like the perfect getaway. But for Black travelers, the beauty hides an ugly truth. Racism in Greece isn't subtle. Black tourists and residents have been targets of open hostility, verbal abuse, and even brutal violence. In fact, international watchdog groups have warned about far-right gangs that specifically target Black people and migrants. Even beyond extremist violence, daily life for Black travelers can feel hostile. So while Instagram shows you Santorini sunsets and Acropolis tours, the reality for Black visitors can be very different. Safety is never guaranteed, and for many, the constant fear ruins the experience entirely. And if you think Europe is the only hotspot of racism, think again, because our next country is supposed to be a land of freedom and opportunity. Number 6. United States of America. The USA markets itself as the land of the free, but for Black people, both locals and travelers, it can feel like a battlefield. From police brutality to white supremacist attacks, the dangers here are not just hidden, they're broadcast worldwide. Black Americans themselves live with the daily reality of systemic racism. But for Black tourists, the shock can be overwhelming. In recent years, countless Black travelers have shared experiences of being harassed by police, refused service in restaurants, or subjected to racist insults in broad daylight. In some cities, walking into the wrong neighborhood while Black can put your life at risk. Number 5. The Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is famous for its beaches, resorts, and vibrant culture. But if you're Black, especially if you're of Haitian descent, this paradise can quickly turn into a nightmare. Anti-Haitian sentiment runs deep here, and it often spills over into open racism against Black travelers. So while the beaches may look inviting, the experience for Black travelers is often filled with hostility and rejection. And if you think the Caribbean stops there, just wait until you hear about the next country, because it's one of the most unexpected names on this list. Number 4. Mexico. Mexico is known for its food, music, and history. But for Black travelers, it can feel like stepping into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. While the country has a large Afro-Mexican population, racism and colorism remain major problems. Black visitors often describe constant stares, inappropriate comments, and harassment. In tourist hotspots, darker-skinned visitors are sometimes treated as criminals or outsiders, while lighter-skinned foreigners are treated with respect. So while millions flock to Mexico every year, Black visitors often leave with stories of being singled out, mistreated, and unsafe. But nothing compares to what comes next, because Brazil, the country famous for carnival and culture, has a much darker reality. Number 3. Brazil. Brazil is one of the most diverse countries in the world, but don't let that fool you. Despite its African heritage, racism here is brutal, and Black travelers feel it instantly. Brazil has the largest population of people of African descent outside of Africa. Yet Black Brazilians themselves are treated like second-class citizens, facing higher poverty rates, police violence, and systemic discrimination. And if locals suffer, Black travelers often face the same hostility. Add to that the daily discrimination, being refused entry into clubs, followed in stores, or ignored by taxi drivers, and Brazil quickly loses its image as a friendly, welcoming paradise. For Black visitors, the experience is often a harsh reminder of the country's deep racial divide. But if you think Brazil is bad, wait until you hear about our runner-up, a country that many Black travelers already know to avoid. Number 2. South Africa. You'd think South Africa, with its history of apartheid, would be working hard to fix racial divisions. But the truth is, racism is still alive and well, and Black travelers often find themselves caught in the middle of it. While Black South Africans make up the majority, class and color still dictate how you're treated. Black travelers sometimes face discrimination in high-end areas, where lighter skin is still associated with wealth and status. Even in major cities like Johannesburg and Cape Town, Black travelers report feeling unsafe, not just because of crime, but because of how they're treated in certain establishments. But if South Africa is number 2, what could possibly be worse? Well, number 1 might shock you. Number 1. India. India is often praised for its culture, history, and hospitality. But for Black travelers, it's ranked as one of the most hostile destinations in the world. In cities across India, Black visitors report relentless staring, verbal abuse, and even violence. African students, in particular, have been brutally attacked in mob incidents, accused of crimes without evidence, and treated as outsiders no matter how long they've lived there. High-profile cases of violence against African nationals have made headlines in recent years, with victims beaten by mobs or harassed by landlords. And while authorities often downplay the issue, the pattern is undeniable. Being Black in India means facing a constant barrage of hostility and danger. So while India may look beautiful in travel brochures, the truth is far from glamorous. For Black travelers, it's a country where racism isn't hidden. It's in your face every single day.